Man, I love skateboarding. I think the reason why I love skateboarding so much is because growing up I always wanted to be different. I always, went against the grain with everything that I did. And that's why I love skateboarding so much, is because there's no coaches or rules or anything that you have to follow. You can just be you, and you can just be as creative as you want to be. And when I got introduced to the church, I was instantly turned off. Because all I saw was rules, and all I saw was standards that you had to live by, and that if you didn't live by, then you weren't loved or you weren't a Christian. So I was just turned off. I didn't want anything to do with it because, I didn't want those standards in my life. I didn't want to live by those rules. I wanted to live by, my own personality, by my own creativity. So I kind of wrote that off for the longest part of my life, and I was just, living my life as a typical skateboarder, skating all night, till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, then going home and waking up for school in the morning. That's what my life revolved around, was skateboarding. That was number one in my life. And it was number one in my life for, basically like 3 or 4 years, until I got into my first few years of high school. And just something happened, and I just lost all my passion for everything that I loved. I lost my passion for skateboarding. My family life got bad. Just everything was just horrible in my life. My first few years of high school. And I felt like I just had this huge void, this huge, just big missing piece in my life. And I didn't know what it was from. I didn't know what I did to deserve this. I didn't know what I did to cause this. And it hurt. And I was trying everything, to fill it up. I was going into the world just trying to find everything I could to fill up that void, whether it be music or parties or girls. I was just trying everything, but nothing was working. And it just sent me into just a deep, dark depression. My life just started going into a downward spiral. And I had this friend that I would skate with. His name was Zach. And he went to this church. His dad was like the pastor of this church, and he was like, "Hey Mike, man, you should come hang out, jam, play music with us, and we'll all hang out." And I skated with Zach all the time, so he was a good friend of mine. But I never knew, the church side of him. So I went to church with him one Sunday morning, and I saw all these people there. And I thought they were going to, judge me, or I thought they were going to, tell me to leave because of how I looked. I wasn't dressed up or anything, but they just loved on me so much, They were just accepting to me. And I saw how happy they were, and I saw how much joy they were filled with. And I wanted that. That's what I wanted. I was so depressed. I was just in this downward spiral, and I wanted the joy they had. And I realized it was because of God. They had this just unexplainable joy because of God. So I was like, you know what, God, I'm going to try and be perfect for you. Then I can accept your son, Jesus Christ, into my heart. And I'll just be perfect so you can love me. So I tried for a few months. I tried everything I could do to be perfect. I tried cutting out all the sins I was doing. I tried cutting out everything bad that I thought was in my life. And it was just so draining, and I couldn't do it. And, I was about to give up. Because I realized, me trying to be perfect was never going to happen. So I could never be a Christian. I could never be happy like those people that I saw at church. So Zach invited me to this worship concert. And I didn't really want to go. But, he was persistent. And he was like, "Mike, you really should come with me." So I was like, "All right, I'll go. Whatever." So I show up there, and we get in this big stadium, and I see all these kids just praising and worshiping God. And they were so happy, and it, just made me even more mad. I was like, that's what I want, but I can't have it. And so I was just standing in the back, just watching the band play. And while all these kids were just worshiping God, I was just back there. I was just mad. I was angry at myself. I was like, I can never be a Christian. God can never love me the way that He loves them. But something hit me. Something made me want to just start walking towards the front. So I start walking towards the stage, and as I get closer, I just felt this burden. I just felt this weight on my chest. And I didn't know what it was. I couldn't explain it. And as I kept getting closer to the stage, the weight got heavier and heavier and heavier. All of a sudden, something inside of me broke. Because the love of God was so strong in that room, I couldn't handle it anymore, and I couldn't lie to myself anymore, because God was showing me how much He loved me, just how I was. Because I was trying everything I could do to make God love me, by being perfect and by, putting away all the sins that I was doing or committing. But God was just telling me right then and there, He was like, "Mike, man, I love you so much. He was like, Mike, there's nothing you can do to make me love you more than I do right now.
Because you say